Most men think they're stuck because they lack discipline, confidence, or motivation. But that's not the real problem. The truth is more uncomfortable. Your nervous system is running your life, and it's keeping you smaller than you're capable of being. If you've ever felt constantly on edge, easily overwhelmed, mentally foggy, or like you're always reacting instead of choosing, this video is for you. When your nervous system is locked in survival mode, growth feels unsafe. Calm feels unfamiliar. Stability feels boring. You can want more for your life, your relationships, your body, your finances, and still sabotage yourself without realizing it. Not because you're lazy, not because you're weak, but because your system learned at some point that stress equals safety. This video isn't about becoming soft or overly emotional. It's about understanding the hidden mechanism that decides how much pressure you can handle, how clearly you think, how you show up under stress, and why you keep repeating the same patterns even when you know better. Once you see how this works, you stop fighting yourself, and you start rebuilding from the inside out. By the end of this, you'll understand why sheer willpower hasn't been enough, why calm is actually a weapon, and how regulating your nervous system is one of the most masculine skills you can develop. Most men don't realize they're living in survival mode because it feels familiar. If you grew up around instability, criticism, emotional unpredictability, pressure, or constant stress, your nervous system adapted to that environment. It learned that tension equals alertness, chaos equals readiness, and calm equals danger. So now, even when your life isn't actively falling apart, your body still acts like it is. This is why you might feel restless when things are going well, why peace makes you uncomfortable, why you procrastinate right when you're about to make progress. Your nervous system isn't asking, "Is this good for me?" It's asking, "Is this familiar?" And familiar wins every time. When your system is stuck in fight or flight, your body is constantly pumping stress hormones. Your thinking narrows. Your patience drops. You become reactive instead of deliberate. Small problems feel big. Conversations feel like threats. Silence feels heavy. You're not choosing these reactions. They're happening automatically. This is also why discipline feels harder than it should. You can know exactly what to do and still feel blocked. Because your body interprets change as risk, growth as exposure, stillness as vulnerability. So it pulls you back into old habits, old dynamics, old versions of yourself. Not to sabotage you, but to protect you based on outdated information. Until you understand this, you'll keep trying to man up your way through problems that aren't a mindset issue. They're a regulation issue. And no amount of motivation can override a nervous system that thinks it's under attack. When your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, it doesn't just affect how you feel. It quietly reshapes the choices you make. You start choosing relief over growth, familiar pain over unfamiliar peace, short-term comfort over long-term strength. Not because you lack discipline, but because your body is prioritizing safety over expansion. This is why men stay in situations they know aren't good for them. Toxic relationships, draining jobs, friendships built on tension or disrespect. Your nervous system recognizes the emotional pattern, even if your mind knows it's wrong. And it whispers, "At least you know how to survive here." Walking away feels like stepping into the unknown, and the unknown feels dangerous to a system trained on instability. It also lowers your standards without you noticing. You tolerate things you wouldn't accept if you were calm and regulated. You explain yourself too much. You overthink responses. You chase clarity from people who thrive on confusion. Your boundaries weaken because confrontation feels like a threat, not a choice. So you either appease or you shut down completely. In relationships, this shows up as emotional hypervigilance. You read tone changes like warning signs. You feel tension before anything actually happens. You mistake intensity for connection and chaos for chemistry. And when someone pulls away, your body reacts before your mind can slow it down. You don't just want reassurance. Your system feels like it needs it to stabilize. Over time, this creates a smaller life. Fewer risks, less honesty, less presence. You play defense instead of building offense. You manage stress instead of designing a life that doesn't constantly trigger it. And the most dangerous part is this: it all starts to feel normal, like this is just who you are. But it's not who you are. It's who your nervous system learned to be to survive. Most men try to fix this problem at the surface. They tell themselves to be more confident, stop caring, man up, or think differently. And for a while, that works, until pressure hits. Then the old reactions come back. The overthinking, the tension, the emotional spikes. And that's when men start blaming themselves, thinking they're weak or undisciplined. But this isn't a mindset failure. It's a regulation problem. You cannot outthink a dysregulated nervous system. When your body is perceiving threat, logic takes a back seat. Your system is faster than your thoughts. That's why you know what the right move is, but still feel pulled toward the wrong one. That's why you promise yourself you won't chase, won't react, won't tolerate disrespect, and then do exactly that under emotional pressure. This is also why motivation fades so quickly. When your nervous system is overloaded, consistency feels exhausting. Discipline feels like force. Progress feels fragile. You're trying to build strength on top of a system that's constantly hitting the brakes. Every step forward costs more energy than it should. Real change starts when your baseline state shifts. When calm becomes normal instead of rare. When your body stops scanning for danger in every interaction. When silence doesn't feel like rejection, and uncertainty doesn't feel like threat. That's when confidence stops being something you perform and becomes something you carry. This is also when boundaries become effortless. You don't need speeches. You don't need to explain yourself into exhaustion. You don't need to prove your worth. You simply feel grounded enough to walk away, to pause, to choose differently, without your chest tightening or your mind spiraling. Men who master this don't look aggressive or dominant. They look unshakable. Pressure doesn't rush them. Disrespect doesn't bait them. Emotional swings don't pull them off course. Not because they're cold, but because their system isn't hijacked anymore. This is the difference between surface confidence and real power. One collapses under stress. The other stays steady because it's built at the level that actually controls your behavior. The nervous system. This is where the consequences really show up. Not just internally, but in how your life plays out. When your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, you don't choose relationships from strength, you choose them from familiarity. Calm feels boring. Stability feels empty. Healthy interest feels uncertain. But chaos? Chaos feels alive. Chaos feels like home. And that's how men end up bonded to people who keep them anxious, inconsistent, or emotionally off balance, even when they know it's bad for them. You start confusing intensity with connection, anxiety with attraction, emotional spikes with chemistry. And because your system is wired to chase relief, you tolerate things you normally wouldn't. Mixed signals, disrespect, hot and cold behavior, walking on eggshells, constantly proving yourself. Not because you lack standards, but because your body is trying to regulate itself through external validation. This also destroys self-worth in subtle ways. You begin tying your value to how people respond to you. A delayed text feels like rejection. Distance feels personal. silence feels like abandonment. And over time, your identity becomes reactive. You're not asking, "What do I want?" anymore. You're asking, "How do I stop this discomfort?" That's when men lose their center. That's when they start over-explaining, chasing closure, accepting crumbs, or staying too long just to avoid the emotional crash of letting go. Even outside of relationships, this shows up everywhere. You struggle to rest without guilt. You feel uneasy when things are quiet. You procrastinate not because you're lazy, but because your system associates stillness with danger. You self-sabotage progress because growth introduces uncertainty, and uncertainty triggers the same internal alarm. So you stay busy, distracted, overstimulated, scrolling, consuming, reacting, anything to avoid sitting with yourself. And here's the hard truth most men miss. You don't become confident by stacking wins on top of this state. You become confident by stabilizing first. Until your nervous system learns that calm is safe, success will always feel fragile. Relationships will always feel tense, and peace will always feel temporary. Men who fix this stop chasing reassurance. They stop needing constant proof. They stop mistaking emotional turbulence for meaning. They start choosing situations, people, and paths that feel steady instead of intense. And that's when life finally stops feeling like something they're trying to survive. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming regulated enough to choose wisely, instead of being pulled by whatever triggers you the fastest. If you take one thing from this, let it be this. Nothing in your life truly stabilizes until you do. You can change your habits. You can change your relationships. You can even change your environment. But if your nervous system is still wired for threat, urgency, and chaos, you'll keep recreating the same patterns in new forms. Different faces, different situations, same internal state. The men who break free aren't the ones who suppress emotion or numb themselves out. They're the ones who slow down enough to retrain their system. They learn how to feel discomfort without reacting, how to sit in silence without panicking, how to let calm become familiar instead of suspicious. And once that happens, everything changes. Decisions get clearer, boundaries get firmer, attraction becomes effortless, and confidence stops being something you perform. This is what real growth looks like. Quiet, grounded, internal. Not flashy, not rushed, not driven by fear of falling behind. If your life has felt smaller than it should, if you've been productive but not peaceful, if you've been strong but not settled, this is the work you've been missing. Remember, when your nervous system learns safety, your mind gains clarity, your body gains control, and your life finally starts moving forward instead of looping. And if you're ready to build from that place, not survival, but stability, stay here. This is where the real shift happens.